put in front of me. Linger on, pale blue eyes. Linger on, your pale blue eyes. Skip a light completely, stuff it in a cup. She said money is like this in time. It lies but it can't stand up. Down with you is up. Linger on, your pale blue eyes. Linger on, your pale blue eyes. It was good what we did yesterday, and I'd do it once again. The fact that you are married, why it only proves that you're my best friend. But you know it's truly, truly a sin. Linger on, your pale blue eyes. Linger Who's that knocking? Who's that knocking on my chamber door? Could be police. They come to take me for a ride. But I had to fight the time. She did the struggle all night. He did the struggle all night. Oh yeah, she did the struggle all night. She did the struggle all night. Now I choose just like the streets did. Searching for my man. Just like for the mainland. I said I couldn't hear it sideways.
As you know by now, there's going to be an immense explosion Friday night when the Velvet Underground plays at Springer's Hall. It's 8 o'clock. We're fortunate today at KVAN to have with us Lou Reed, lead singer and lyrics writer for Velvet Underground. He does the music and the lyrics for most of the numbers. He's with us today for an interview, and we're going to be playing selections from his album, the third album, called The Velvet Underground. And we'll get right into that. Seems that every album that the Velvet Underground comes out with is different. 1 was different from 2, and 3 is different.
In chronological order also. You know, you start with the first album and work your way at your own leisure, of course. Slowly but surely to the third. It should make sense.
And on the individual album, you say they're
all the songs are in order. Yeah, and it's not just arbitrary. I mean, it reads in order. One song, they're all supposed to complement, what the preceding song. Like on the third album, Candy Says asked, had this person asking all these questions, and then what goes on kind of asked like one specific one, and then Some Kind of Love and Pale Blue Eyes explicated some of it, and then it just went on and on and on. That's why the first side closed with Jesus, and then the second side was beginning to see the light. And then it went all the way to like, that's the story of my life, which like summed up the whole thing. And then after you got that far and figured had everything solved, then you hit the murder mystery, which is like the next step, past it. Like the murder mystery was for all the people who, like a lot of people said the third album was so soft and that we were selling out and doing this and that. And they wanted another Sister Ray or another heroine, and we're like, well, there's the murder mystery is all of that. Only it's a lot more, only you got to work for it in the murder mystery, which is why it's a mystery. But I mean, all the people that really like that side of us and think that that side's not there anymore, well, they haven't listened to the murder mystery. It's just that, where could you go past Sister Ray? Like we didn't want to do another energy thing. We took the energy thing, as far as we wanted to go. Like there had to be a step past that, and that's the murder mystery. Right. The murder mystery is one very long, kind of obtuse circle, but it's not impenetrable. You can get into it. You just gotta hustle a little.
Oh yeah, I noticed you mentioned circular before as a theme or a pattern that you sometimes use. Have you do you connect that as an artist with things like James Joyce books or other artists who use different mediums?
Oh, like, sure. I mean, without
Finnegan's Wake or
trying
something.
to get too pretentious about it, but like I'm harping on the murder mystery this one. Like Sister Ray and Lady Godiva and The Gift. Like The Gift was just, why don't we set a short story to music? That was simple. So we put the voice on, in stereo, the voice on the left, and the music on the right, and you could either just listen to the voice or just listen to the music or listen to both. Then Lady Godiva was supposed to be a number of levels going at the same time that were unrelated but related, and it would supposedly have that effect. Now, it wasn't technically that well recorded, so it didn't quite come off, but the basic idea was good. Then you got the murder mystery, like, one of the things that Joyce and Cage and all these people did, like in their writings anyway, was, like trying to print two things side by side.
Yes.
Or print one thing on top of itself to show that two things were going on.
Yes.
But you see, having a record makes the other thing antiquated. I mean, there's no need to bother even doing that, because here you got a record with a stereo channel going.
Right.
You don't have to have a printed page with this on top of it. All you do is you have stereo left channel, stereo right channel. So the murder mystery was, to take. Well, it's not an avant-garde idea, because it's been, since the 20s, European writers since the 20s have been doing it, but, doing it on a record, no one seems to have done it in a coherent, cohesive form. So the idea was, bam, on the left and right, two different voices doing inversions, both of mood and content. For instance, you notice on the murder mysteries, one person says inverse, the other person saying converse.
Yes.
Like, we matched it up as close as you can and still be a human being about it. In other words, if it was more perfect, then it would have been a machine, but there was no way to get it perfect. You have to breathe at some point.
Yeah, well, it was like poetry, anyway, to me. It came on like jazz singing, jazz talk, or poetry in the beginning, yeah. which may give it that human element.
Reminds me like when they said, Andy, what you really want to be when you grew up, and you said a tap dancer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's how I feel when someone starts talking about the poetry of it. It's a tap dance.
Yeah. Oh, I see. So that was from Dylan Thomas's. What poem?
I was just saying, Dylan Thomas had a poem about the death of his father called "Do Not Go Gently into That Good Night" or something like "Blaze, blaze until the ending of the day," something like that. I don't. That's a paraphrase.
We've been
He was a strong guy.
kind of solving. Yeah. That's almost a part of the solution to the murder mystery, then, to split the channels like that and listen to it and be able to hear it.
Yeah. And then you can listen to it in the middle, with both of them going on. Most people insist on like doing one thing at a time, but you can do several at a time, and it's just a way to make you do something. That's for all the people who wanted more Sister Ray and more heroin, and they, we just, we wanted to make it the next natural step, and that's the next natural step after Lady Godiva and Sister Ray would be the murder mystery. It's just you got to work a little to get into the murder mystery, and I figure, if they wanted that bad, then they wouldn't mind just turning the stereo channel to the left. That's not so bad. Mm-hmm. A lot of worse things.
Yeah.
I was just saying when I was in L.A., I won't give the name, but a reverend who reads the aura and tells your previous incarnations and removes entities from you. And I had a number that had to be removed. They told Doug, for instance, that if you have long hair, you should always get it trimmed a little, get the ends cut off, because you pick up spiritual wasps. And anyway, I really felt it. Like she was playing around with my Ajna center, the third eye.
Yeah.
And she was applying a lot of pressure there, and she was removing entities. And as soon as she'd remove it, she'd go like that, and start shaking. And then she said, "Oh, I can't see," and she'd run into the other room, wash her hands, and then come right back. And I felt it,
About what time during the albums was this taking place that the entities were removed?
This was last month.
Oh, really?
This is a couple of weeks ago now. Yeah. I was down there because I was going to the Joe Ray Church. I don't know if you know what Joe Ray is, but it's a Japanese healing form. It's a way of giving off white light. And I've been involved and interested in what they call white light for a long time. A woman named Alice Bailey, who has some rather remarkable books out. She was a telepathic secretary, and she took down all this stuff by a Tibetan, and that's the way John used to talk, by the way, that Welsh accent. A Tibetan, like that. But anyway, it's a kind of incredible book called A Treatise on White Magic, and you can get it like in a cult book, so it costs like $10, unfortunately. And someplace like that. It tells you how to go out and do it all. And, so I've been into that. I used to go to I go to the moon meditation services. Anyway, when I came out here, a lot of the people I know who are into that, the sauces and, all the rest of it, they keep in touch on what's happening. So I didn't have time to get my Joe Ray thing, because then I could have Joe Rayed people, but they Joe Rayed me, and got all the toxins out of me. And then we went to the Reverend and had my aura read, to find out just how heavy the karma was.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. Like, if it was an act, it's great.
What color did he say your aura was? Do you remember?
White, and there was, there was some blue, some green, and all that.
Blue is the color of the spirit world.
Yeah.
Green is the color of learning and growth and teaching.
Yeah, she said I could be a prophet if I wanted to.
Yeah. I wouldn't doubt it. Well, you are.
Then she asked me for money, though. No, it was fabulous, because, if you're into it at all, you can tell how good your sight is in the Ajna Center, right?
Mm-hmm.
And mine got noticeably better while I was sitting there, while she was removing these entities.
Yeah.
And it was just fantastic. And I felt just incredible since. She removed all kinds of lower body entities.
You had lower body entities?
Yeah.
Harboring them, letting them feed on your energy.
She said pockets of them.
And they were eating your energy.
In other words, all of us, or supposedly what a lot of us are trying to do is move the energy, from the sacral centers up, to like the throat center, and if you get it to throat center, move it up, to the pineal gland. And, but we still have, confusions of energy, which is all meditation is about. And there's, moving energy from the lower body to the higher body. And, she just saw some pockets of sin. And meanwhile, she pulled out, she drew them for me. And she's telling me my previous incarnations, which were really, wow. She said I've got a lot of karmic responsibility.
Now, in this life you have to pay in this life.
Well, that's what she said, entertaining.
Yeah.
One answer to a previous life of cavorting.
Wow.
A number of previous lives said, like, she'd tell you how many years you've been here.
Oh.
And stuff like that. 50.
How many lives have you had?
I had 1,143.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Did she tell you how many incarnations you had to go, or did she know anything like that? Or?
She says you always come back.
Yeah, well...
Because you want to.
Because
it's so fantastic here.
Because she said?
Yeah. Because life here is so great. Now, my point of view is that she's really right, because I'm enjoying myself, I'm having so much fun. But I think it's fantastic. Obviously last time around I must have worked a lot of the problems out, because, I'm having a lot of fun.
Yeah, you're getting rewards this time.
I'm not getting any rewards.
You're not?
No. I don't believe in them. So
the karmic
I don't get them.
You don't get them. You don't get, things like talent, things like insight.
It's like a friend of mine, Well, he's Delmore Schwartz from the first album. I said European Son of Delmore Schwartz.
Yeah.
When I was in college, he was an incredible writer and poet, and really a really best friend and everything. And he wrote an essay once in an incredible book called Vaudeville for a Princess, and he had all these incredible essays in there, and like about Hamlet and Othello, and things like. Like one way of looking at Hamlet, like there was one interpretation of Hamlet is that he's just raving drunk from beginning to end. But like another way of looking at Hamlet is that he's just a manic depressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what Delmore said that was really great was that being a manic depressive doesn't mean anything more than like saying you have blue eyes or brown hair. It just is. Which is the same thing as like the talent of something. Other people might say, isn't that talent and everything? But anybody who's that way just says, well, it's like having green eyes, or one red one and one purple one, it's just there. That's all there is to it.
You're speaking from the inside. You do have, a person who has green eyes has something too, according to William Blake. And a person who has talent, if he really has it, he doesn't know that it's anything. He thinks it's natural. Well, that's what they call a natural talent. And
I don't know. People might tell you, especially if you get paid for it. Then you might begin to suspect something's going on.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, the idea would be if you could make people just feel better than before they ran into you. That's talent.
Yeah, this is what you want to do.
That would be talent.
You want to help people.
Not help. Help's not really
make them feel better.
Well, just not make things any worse. Than they already are.
Are you into yin yang at all? The positive, the negative vibrations?
I'm into all of it. I just don't think any of it ultimately matters. Like, for instance, I think what I do is a form of yoga, for instance. I used to do a lot of this stuff off stage, but now I think like on stage is a real example of it. Like, when you're there, all these funny things happen.
Yes.
And when you're not there, nothing much happens. So it must take place over there, and it must have to do with a lot of people, because playing alone isn't nearly the same as playing for people. And the only reason you play for people is because it just makes them hopefully have fun.
Right.
And it doesn't have to go past there as far as I'm concerned. I mean, if it does, well, that's nice. But it's not what I would expect. And it's not what I would ask for either. That's why, I like AM radio so much, and I really like TV, Like, I don't think they should have things on TV that are distressing or pretentious enough to think that they're going to make people think and do this and do that. Like, I don't think that has any place. I think everybody's got so many problems, That, like, Cat comes home and he wants to, he's had it, he's been working 9, 8 hours, some really dreadful job, and he wants to lie back and not have some, really pretentious TV person start telling him, you've got to do this because look at what's happening over there,
Right.
And so people really, leaving each other alone is kind of a nice talent. That's why talent is really such like an ephemeral thing. Like you can't really define talent.
Well, it's difficult.
Not being a criminal is a talent. Like I think that's the only talent that matters. Not being a thief.
Right. Between the second and the third album, so many people noticed a very significant change, and a lot of them were wondering about if the basic philosophy had changed. You say that Sister Ray gave them this energy, and that it can be found on the Murder Mystery. Now, the other songs, Candy says,
refined down, like in the Murder Mystery, it's like for a long time I thought it was awful that you had flesh. I just thought if your bones were just covered with skin, you could pare it away to your necessities. But that's kind of a machine attitude as opposed to a human attitude. So it's much better to be human than to be a machine. But being human is being a machine anyway. It's just if you understand that you're a machine, then you stop thinking things about just having skin on bones.
Well, the quivering, I think, is retained in the third album anyway. I hear it a soft. I hear a soft drive that's just as intense in some of the slow songs on the third album.
There were slow songs on the first and on the second. It's just no one ever noticed it because the placement wasn't so good. Heroin kind of ran away with it because it was kind of overt and easy to identify with. But we didn't want to be put in the bag of being the forerunners of the drug maniacs and all of that. So, I had thought there was a balance, like I'll Be a Mirror on Sunday morning and Femme Fatale, all this kind of thing, which didn't work out. And the second album was an energy job. It was a continuation like of European Sun, which, I had thought European Sun would be a great soundtrack for somebody to think to, because, it could be anything. It's like the Late Late Show, like, an old war movie, except you don't have any pictures except what's ever in your head. But the people used to say we were, quote, a bummer, and I always thought that was, far out.
Some people put you on the same tapes, so people throw tapes together. They put you on the same tapes with religious meditative music, as a matter of fact. And you're talking about European Sun allowing you to be a soundtrack for, I'll play you a tape later that's got European Sun on it for that reason.
I always thought one of the things that was behind our stuff, and one of the reasons we recorded the way we recorded is because we didn't know how to record. But above and beyond that, though, was there was a certain theory behind it, and that was of space. Like all the songs very spacey. Like we didn't put things in, we took things out, which is kind of the reverse of the way everybody else works. Like we never add instruments, we don't bring people in for sessions, we don't basically do anything that we can't reproduce on stage. But like Candy Says, for instance, I think Candy Says is really so incredible and it has its own kind of tension. It's about somebody saying, Candy says, I've come to hate my body and all it requires in this world. With all that little pretty music on it, if you start figuring, what is that all about? And then the whole rest of the third album is just about that.